The Court of Appeal has quashed a decision by Deputy Chief Justice Mwilu made on October the 18th, 2024, to constitute a three-judge bench to hear a petition challenging the removal of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua from office. The appellate court further directed that the matter be referred to the Chief Justice, who holds the exclusive mandate to empanel a bench to hear and determine such matters. Deputy Chief Justice Mwilu had appointed Justices Eric Ogola, Anthony Mrima and Freedom Gambi to hear the case, an action Gachagua's legal team challenged as unconstitutional, arguing that only the Chief Justice has the authority to make such appointments. It remains to be seen.
Accused of unnecessary and expensive renovation of the official residence of the Deputy President in Karen and Mombasa. Mr. Speaker, firstly, I would like to state that funds for the renovation of the official residence were approved and allocated by this Honorable House based on the fact that the premises had been neglected for a very long time when Dr. William Ruto was Deputy President.
Aliyekuwa naibu rais Rigathi Gachagua amepata ushindi mkubwa baada ya mahakama ya rufaa kuafikia uamuzi kuwa naibu jaji mkuu Mwilu hakuwa na mamlaka ya kuteua jopo la majaji wa kusikiza kesi zilizopinga kuondolewa kwake madarakani kama naibu rais.
Majaji hao, mtazamaji, Daniel Musinga, Mumbi Ngogi, Francis Tuyot, katika uamuzi wao walisema kwamba jukumu la kuteua jopo la majaji ni la jaji mkuu kwa mujibu wa katiba, na kwamba kuwapangia majaji kazi si mojawapo ya majukumu ya kiutawala ambayo jaji mkuu anaweza kumpa naibu wake.
Waliongeza kuwa naibu jaji mkuu alikiuka vifungu vinavyoongoza huduma za mahakama nchini, hali kadhalika swali zima la usimamizi wa haki.
Gachagua aliondolewa madarakani.
The Court of Appeal is the only court in Kenya that is not contaminated. Hizo zingine zote Kasogo aliingia. Hata Supreme Court hatuielewi vizuri, lakini Court of Appeal hapo alishindwa kabisa. That is the last line of defense. Kuna bloggers wanasema ati sasa hiyo ni plan ya Ruto, Rigathi aachiliwe. Let me tell you, if there is one candidate Ruto anaogopa kama ujimoto ni Rigathi Gachagua, because anajua huyo akiingia he is very ruthless.
President Ruto did not know Gachagua, and that's why Gachagua got impeached. And that's why Gachagua is raising hell. And that's why Gachagua is giving President Ruto sleepless nights. You only have to be a human being. If you are a superhuman, what Gachagua is doing means nothing. If you are a human being with intellectual challenges, what he's doing is not a problem. But if you are a normal human being, you are not intellectually challenged, and you are not a superhuman, you will agree that Gachagua is causing havoc. So it is this Gachagua President Ruto didn't understand. And it is because of not understanding Gachagua that the impeachment went through. What am I trying to say? I'm saying the president was scaring Gachagua that I'm going to impeach you. And when Gachagua didn't appear to be scary, he went ahead to put it into motion. But people have been told, we have been told, they were instructed by Ruto. So this is not far-fetched, including Glad's boss Cholet. They are saying, Rais, ukiniambia niende left, naenda left. Wakati uliniambia ni impeach Gachagua, impeach. So I'm not making up this kind of stuff. It is true. The president knew he would scare Gachagua. Gachagua didn't scare. He moved the next phase to actualize the impeachment, mobilize the troops. At that point, the president was so sure that Gachagua will know he was going to be impeached and the consequences of being impeached, that when you get impeached, you become a pariah. You lose everything. You go empty-handed. You can't run for office. Nobody would want to associate themselves with you. Ruto thought, upon those considerations, and seeing that the troops are ready and the numbers are ready to impeach him, Gachagua was going to resign. Because you resign, you go with your packs, Unakwambia mzee, ilikuwa tu hiyo kutokuelewana, siasa inakuwa namna hiyo. Usijali sana. Hata hii kitu kidogo chukua endanga ukikula katika retirement yako pole, tutaonana tu. Biashara kidogo hivi. Masaire ni nyuma yako, chess cars, kila kitu, package yote, retired vice president according to the constitution, kila kitu, manai hiyo. Over behind everything else, na kitu kidogo kwa mfuko enda. That's what Ruto thought. He did not reckon with the Gachagua that is Gachagua. It is now that Ruto is seeing who Gachagua is. He miscalculated. He didn't know Gachagua. He thought at the point where Gachagua will be sure is being impeached, he was going to resign. Gachagua the man. Gachagua the man from Wamunyoro. Gachagua the man from Nyeri. Gachagua did not resign. It was too late for the president to withdraw his troops. It had reached a point of no return. Remember, people were asking Gachagua, I remember even the Grand Mullah and many other people. People were asking Gachagua at the last moment, please resign before this thing goes to Senate. You can see at that point it was too late for the president to withdraw. That is my thinking. And therefore Gachagua, who is now currently giving the president sleepless nights, Gachagua, who is the center of opposition, who is the symbol of resistance on Mount Kenya, Gachagua, who represents the opposition, Gachagua, who will point at the man who can become president, Gachagua, who can make Matiang'i president, Gachagua, who can make Kalonzo president. That Gachagua could not have been impeached if the president knew.
Allow me to say that the comments on the conduct of our CSs. Trevor, if you ask these three senators, the main accusation against former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, why was Gachagua impeached? Why was Gachagua impeached? Because he was holding a national office but forgot that he was the Deputy President for all of us. He was not the Deputy President for Central Kenya. But every pronouncement, every time he stood in public, every time he appeared in public, he appeared only to be advancing the interest of his region and his people. That is the reason why we impeached Rigathi Gachagua. So you cannot have similar conduct from members of my party who have joined government. That every time we see you in public, you are only speaking in terms of the so-called development that has come to your people. You understand? And we wove into this MOU. I'm telling you, people need to give me time to read this thing word for word for them. We wove into this MOU a provision here where the two leaders, President Ruto and Raila Odinga, will respect the identity and integrity of the political parties who signed this document. So when Governor Wanga speaks, and I want to address the comment that he made about Governor Wanga. First of all, it is fair for Governor Wanga to demand answers from the government on the killing of Ongondowere, because it is a responsibility of government to protect life and limb. Number two, when she speaks and she says this region, members of the public in this region belong to ODM or have supported ODM, she's defending this MOU. Because this MOU requires that you protect the integrity and respect the identity and integrity of these political parties. What has happened is that under the guise of these so-called development tours, and you know everybody can see that it is politics at play, these development tours are meant to win political support for UDA in Nyanza. And that is the reason why Governor Wanga was saying, you must respect us in accordance with the MOU that you signed. So Trevor, for me, I am very clear in my mind. I am not a member of any government called broad-based. I don't know where it exists. The MOU that we signed does not establish any such government, you know. So we are very clear in our minds as the leadership of ODM. And by the way, ODM as a